Mike Trout here, and I want to give a talk about the Bitcoin Global Reserve Fund. It's kind of like the Federal Reserve for launching what I call social capitalism, or capitalism 3.0. And I've seeded the fund with 4 Bitcoin, 4.2 to be exact. And it's in the, right now, it's being held as part of the Coinbase vault. And I'm not looking for donations to it, even though I do have the link to the vault so people can check it and see that there's actually 4.2 Bitcoin in there. I'm looking for simple pledges. And I have a white paper that you can read. So you have to understand there's an exciting thing happening. And this is why I always say SoCapism can't be stopped, right? Because eventually those 4 Bitcoin are going to be worth 10 million a piece, right? 10 million, right? So that's $40 million right there. And we're not going to spend the base 100 Bitcoin that I raise in this fund. We're never going to spend the 100 Bitcoin. The 100 Bitcoin will always be there. And then the 100 Bitcoin will be used to leverage kind of like assets, right? Investments in an STO and STOs, IEOs, right? For various projects. So every Foundup project, kind of like how, for example, what do you think it is? There is literally only 12 million Bitcoin in circulation, right? There's only 12 million, 5 million have been lost. And yet there is over 200 billion worth of transactions. How is that possible? Because the those 12 million Bitcoins are basically have a valuation, have a value to them, and can be leveraged. So anyone who's holding Bitcoin are going to be, multi-millionaires. Now, my whole purpose and existence in life is to fix our, problem with capitalism. I'm going to walk over and you're going to see that as the helicopter spraying Noyaku on the fields. We'll walk over there and see that as a gift at the end if you stick along this long. The simple fact is, as I described back in 2011, if you look at my charts, you'll see Bitcoin as the underlying asset, right? That's going to drive this new paradigm. And here it is. So what I'm doing is putting out a party. I'm funding a party, spending about $20,000. I'm making it rather exclusive for folks to go to if they want to go to it. And I'm going to invite folks that I know who have followed me over the years, that I've met at conferences, who know who I am, who knows that I'm not, I'm actually someone that's been working on this since 2009. That's when I started Foundups. And now in 2020, I'm launching. So the Bitcoin Global Reserve Fund has been launched. The events are there to basically talk about Foundups, talk about the first 5 danos, the 5th age of man. We're launching 5 danos, using the fund assets as an underwrite for these first 5 danos, and ultimately tokenizing these components of the danos, which will be held outside of the nonprofit, because each dano is underwritten by a nonprofit. However, the tokenization of the danos is held by Foundups Capital. So Foundups Capital basically gives all tokenization, but the actual danos that are run as a nonprofit. They can't have. That's why, for example, if you look at an art museum, like the New York Art Museum, you'll see that their parking lot that's there affiliated with the art museum is not owned by the art museum, because the parking lot generates too much income. The tokens will generate too much income potentially for the danos, so they can't be part of it. So, all right, so that's all I'm going to talk about, the Bitcoin Global Reserve Fund. I want you to show us this guy here. I'm gonna flip it around and see these guys here. They are using a helicopter. He's probably not gonna like me coming in and looking. And he's spraying. They're spraying. You can see on the side of it, they're spraying Noyaku. It's really dry right now. So, you know, this is a monoculture, and they're putting in this fungicide and stuff. What is he gonna do here? It's kind of hard to see, but there is a helicopter. And our remote control. In the future, this will just be a drone. So this kind of leads me on to Puerto Rico Dano. So Puerto Rico Dano there has 60,000 hectares, 60,000 hectares, or maybe 60 million hectares. Can't remember, 60 something of hectares of land that can be turned into this. And there are many AI. There are cars that drive themselves. And this would look, you can see him, I can see him dropping the spray on it. It's like perfect day. It's going back and forth. And he's just going back and forth, working his way down on that. So imagine if if rice farming in the future has to be done, rice farming in the future has to be done autonomously, right? The average age of a farmer in Japan is 68 years old. They're dying, okay? And imagine if a Dano came up and said, listen, you can keep your land, everything else, we'll farm it, we'll do it all autonomously. The biggest cost to rice farming is manpower, right? And, you know, and that's going to reduce the cost of rice significantly because it can be done by autonomous harvesters, autonomous planters, autonomous, drones. They'll just live, they'll come out, and they'll just service the land. There'll be no one involved in producing rice at all. It's all food production is going to become autonomous. So think of it. We can take the best rice farmers, the best rice that we have in Japan. We can bring it to, to Puerto Rico where they need it, and create Puerto Rico rice. And in partnership with leading AI universities and everything else, and we'll set up as a Dano. And a Dano basically says that every islander of Puerto Rico is the voter for this Dano. Okay, they have anyone else can ultimately invest in the tokens of this Dano, right? Of this Puerto Rico rice. The rice is the Foundup. The rice is the tokenized thing, right? And ultimately, as the project levels up in value, so is the value of the tokens. It's that simple. That's basically the underlining method of all ICOs, STOs, IEOs, is that the value of that widget, just like the value of Google started in 2000, now the value of Apple, and so on and so on and so on, the value goes up, over as the market diffusion takes place, adoption, right? So this is one of our projects right here. It's fitting to see a guy there, imagine this coming out, doing it with drones, right? They could be doing it now with drones. They will be doing it probably with drones within the next 5 years. And the technology is there. So that's Puerto Rico Dano. And there we only just do rice, we'll do hemp, we'll do permaculture, whole bunch of different projects that we will bring. And we'll see this Dano with $1 million, right? That will be basically, that would be underwritten by the fund, right? That I was talking about earlier. So another Dano is E-Singularity Dano. Now, E-Singularity Dano, I started in 2007. And actually, E-Singularity Dano actually led me to Foundups, and it's a long story, which I'm not going to go into, but maybe you can read it in my book, all right? E-Singularity Dano is really simple. It is actually autonomous delivery of education via any device. Autonomous, right? Again, autonomous harvesting of autonomous education via any smart device. from 0 to 8th grade equivalent in math, science, and language arts. Okay, that's it. If you can look at eduit.org, the E-Singularity Prize, we will basically create a prize that's going to entice people to participate and develop this, right? And again, underwritten by the fund. Okay. Another Dano is Blockfest Japan. Blockfest Japan is a burning woman for celebrating the coming of social capitalism and launching your Foundups that will level up and become Danos. And it will happen in Hakuba, Japan. It's where the 1998 Olympics, Winter Olympics happened. And this community is amazing. It's basically dying, and the snow is going away, and it's basically, I say basically too much, it's 90% empty off season meaning winter. So we can grow an event that can hold, 50 to 100,000 in this beautiful place. And Japan's important because Japan really is a role model for social capitalism as an empathic society. Because ultimately one of the goals of social capitalism is usher in empathic society. The other goal is to provide UBIs, to provide very low cost of free education, low cost of free medical, and all this is paid out of the profits of the successful Danos, right, out there. If you want to know kind of all the benefits of Danos, go listen to Andrew Yang. Everything Andrew Yang is saying is going to come because of Danos. Because see, we can launch our own entities now because of the blockchain. We can launch. We have transparency. We have immutability. We can tokenize every Foundup. Now, think of a Foundup is not just a startup. A Foundup is any widget. So Puerto Rico rice, you name it. You're not actually. It's a utility for that one thing. And if you own the stakes in it, there's going to be a lot of benefits. For example, you can always swap it out and get the product. There's also another Dano is I call it my wild card Dano. It's one of my favorite Danos, and it's called the autonomous wall. And the awesome all Dano, basically solves border and community protection. Not really protection, but alertness, awareness, and everything else to deter criminals, to deter different things. And all it is drone autonomous management. And here's the kicker is you have control of your data. So when a drone sees you, it's going to put that data, encrypt it to a file serve, right? You won't know because it's encrypted. You won't know it's you. You have millions and millions and millions. It won't be held on the data, but the component will be shared. Will be distributed on many people's PCs, right? And ultimately, you can look at it and say, I want this deleted. If for example, you were involved in a hit and run or a crime or something else, or then ultimately you will be notified. Hey, you're in this video. So yeah, great, this happened. Yes, this is a crime. I want it sent on. If the other person who did it gets the same notification, no, it's not a crime. Then it goes to an arbitrator, and the arbitrator then looks at it, says yes, it's a crime, and passes it on to law enforcement. So arbitrators will be professionals who will earn kind of like a miner, right? Who will earn tokens for being arbitrators. People who share their data and other stuff will earn tokens. So it's the monetize. Everyone's talking about this. Here's a simple solution, right? And here's the beautiful thing is we can use the 2020 elections as a way to basically launch the U.S. the Dano, right? The first American Dano. And these are you can go to autonomouswall.com, watch my videos. I have a new video coming out, right? I have 3 videos on there. The first video is about the project. The second video is about the data. The third video is actually about Danos, and that's getting done right now. So the third video in the series is being done. It's going to explain why Danos are important, why Danos can't be stopped, and ultimately why you should be interested in them. They're just 3 of the 5. There's 2 others. There's another called Geozy, right? Go Easy is the guy who the scientist who found the tardigrade. So we're gonna create a game. This is with CryptoKitties. All right, I already talked to CryptoKitties, so they're like, yes, love it, we want to be part of it. All right, back at the I followed up with them, but they're going to be our partners, right? For Go Easy to help launch our I call it our space and gaming Dano. And it's really simple. Imagine that we will be able to teach millions of individuals about biology, about genetic splicing via something called crypto. Now it will be like 3D, you know, you'll be like a mad scientist creating these geoses. And our stretch goal is if we raise 100 million, right, we'll actually find a lab in China or someplace where where the Trump organization or the American Christian right organization doesn't have sway, and fund our own lab, set up our own lab to use and hire top-notch scientists to splice your DNA, okay, into a tardigrade pouch, develop micro propulsion in partnership with universities, all the rocket crazies out there, right? All those fanatics. Micro propulsion systems, and then we're going to basically spritz your DNA in a tardigrade, which ultimately can withstand incredible, kind of like a time capsule, right? A lot of people think life came from tardigrades on a meteor or something else because they turned to silica. You should look up tardigrades, and these are, and you'll be able to we'll send your geos in. They're called geos in when you split them. We have a white paper on it, into Alpha Centauri B or Mars or wherever you want to go, because with Trump, with nuclear war, shit, this place could go to hell in a handbasket very quick. And it's kind of a peace of mind knowing, hey, my fucking DNA is out there, and maybe in the future some future alien species is going to find my tardigrade and say, what the fuck is this little rocket? Look in here and say, wow, what are these geos in? And wow, they got some strange DNA. Let's clone this DNA, and all of a sudden, right? And maybe there'll be some sort of be cool if there was some sort of holographic memory crystals that can be also these micro, the size of a grain of sand, that holds my entire neural network in this little grain of sand on this quantum level, right? So there's a grain of sand. There's 1,000 of these geozi, and each of them has their own number linked to a grain of sand. So all of a sudden, imagine waking up. Now this is stuff of sci-fi, right? This is stuff of fantasy. Waking up and like, holy shit, where the fuck am I? So congratulations. Think of AI, right? You are so important. You're one of the last species. We want to know everything, and then you start sharing, and you become like, wow. Isn't that amazing? So I hope you enjoyed my talk here. A lot of stuff going on. Please share this video with DevCon5, hashtag DevCon5, add it at Foundups, add it at mtrout.com. That's me on Twitter. Share it, because it's important that people understand what's going on. And more importantly, read my white paper. Translate it into a different language. If you speak another language, just copy, paste. You're free to translate it. And let's together work on saving the planet.